Louisiana Democratic Congressman Cleo Fields represents a district at the center of this very case, the one right before the Supreme Court that really has changed the fate of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And he joins me right now. Congressman, thank you for being here. I'm very curious about your take because in your district, CNN affiliate WAFB is reporting that more than 100,000 absentee ballots have been mailed out. More than 4,000 have been returned. Early voting, it starts the day after tomorrow. Is this effort to redistrict even legal?
I would think not. And there are challenges, and there will be challenges tomorrow against the governor's executive order, against the Secretary of State. Listen, the judgment is not final. You know, the Supreme Court Rule 44.1 provides that the parties have 25 days to request a rehearing. So technically, the judgment is not even final. And to call off the election when people have already voted, you know, you're right. Over 100,000 people have received absentee ballots. Over 4,000 people in one parish alone has voted. You know, so the election has already started. You know, people say, well, the election starts on Saturday. No, it does not. It started weeks ago. And this is going to disenfranchise, if the courts don't intervene, you know, several people's right to vote. The Supreme Court did not say that Louisiana should move forward with its election. It simply said that the 6th District of Louisiana was a racial gerrymandering.
But the ultimate consequence has now invited this governor to try to change this and redraw maps in spite of the people who've already cast their ballots, who you can imagine, if they tried to vote in a future election once they said it, might be accused of double voting, which we know has been a big to-do, even though it has not been. But Black residents, they make up about a third of the population in Louisiana, about a fifth of the population in the South overall. Tell me what your constituents are saying to you about the decision from this Supreme Court and how it might gut the voting rights that have affected Black representation.
I mean, they're really upset about it. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's because of states like Louisiana that has a history of discriminating against Blacks. But it's not just the history, it's present. You know, people in Louisiana and in Mississippi and Alabama, there are folk who, you know, even after the Congress passed the 15th Amendment and brought about, gave people the right to vote, there were still states like Louisiana that were denying people access to the ballot box. That's why we came up with the Voting Rights Act. And even today, people are doing it. There's not a single African American ever elected to Congress from Louisiana, from a majority white district, period. You know, people unfortunately vote on racial lines. I mean, and the courts in the past have recognized that. You said on your show yesterday, we used to have the tool of subsection 5. That was the tool that we always use. You had to get it pre-clear. Anything you did as it relates to voting had to be pre-cleared by the Justice Department.
Under Section
that was
5.
A valuable tool. They gutted that. And now subsection 2, the only thing that minority voters have left is subsection 2, and they gutted that yesterday. But for Louisiana to move forward and just say, look, we're going to stop the election, that's exactly what they're attempting to do. They're attempting to stop the election, not hold the election, because the elections are already in place, and we're going to be fighting carefully in court to overturn that.
Well, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York, she wants governors in blue states to turn the tables on the Republican Party. Listen.
We all have to play by the same set of rules. And the Republican caucus has made it very clear that they want and are setting rules of partisan gerrymandering. If they're going to redraw and gerrymander every one of their states, then unfortunately we have to provide balance to that until we get to the day where we can all finally agree to put this behind us and pass nonpartisan gerrymandering federally.
Is this the right strategy, a kind of fighting fire with fire?
Well, you know, look, perhaps, I don't know. I mean, but listen, when the president of the United States of America calls the governor of Texas and say, I need 5 more Republican seats, what you expect? Democrats to not do anything? I think to some degree she's right. I mean, but we have to stop this. This is going nowhere. There's a rush to the bottom. People, need to, be careful about, just taking away people's voices. I mean, here in Louisiana, we have people who have voted in an election, legally cast their early vote ballot. And the governor and the secretary of state and the attorney general of Louisiana saying that doesn't count. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's asinine. And the courts need to come in and stop it. And that's what the challenge we have today. And hopefully the courts will see it our way, and we will, let the elections go on.
Some of those ballots went overseas for military as well. Congressman Cleo Fields, thank you. Up next, a